Dear friends, welcome to Know Thyself YouTube Channel. Good morning. Hope you're all staying safe and keeping well. I sincerely thank all of you who have subscribed to this channel and follow the channel. If you find the contents of the videos uploaded in this channel useful, please subscribe to this channel and click the notification or the bell icon so that you can be notified when a video is uploaded. Kindly share the videos with others or on the internet. In the last episode of Know Your Mind segment, we briefly presented transaction analysis developed by Eric Berne and analyzed some significant concepts that make up this system of psychology. In this episode, we analyze Eric Berne's structure of the human psyche by introducing his notion of ego states and by clarifying the parent, the first ego state, in detail. The ego states is the most significant concept in transaction analysis. Like Freud, Berne posited that each individual possesses three ego states, namely the parent, the adult, and the child. However, Freudian model, the id, the ego, and the superego, and Berne's model do not directly correspond to each other. For Berne, each ego state possesses a set of thoughts, feelings, and behaviors related to that particular ego state, which facilitates an individual to shift from one ego state to another. Hence, an individual may assume roles of a parent, adult, or child in transactions with another person or in internal conversation. Eric Berne developed the notion of ego states in the context of working with his clients. At times, he observed that his clients had the voice and mannerism of a child. Suddenly, they would transform into self-righteous parents who were critical and dogmatic in their manner. And at other moments, they sounded like a grown-up person who reasoned about situations logically. From these observations, Berne concluded that within each of us lies our parents, our own versions of ourselves when we were children, and an adult which has been developing all along in response to the current reality. For him, the parent ego state, the adult ego state, and the child ego state are three psychological states of being, each of which a person experiences at a given time. Having briefly clarified what the ego states are, let us move on to consider the nature and features of the parent ego state. The parent ego state contains a set of thoughts, feelings, attitudes, and related behaviors you have learned from significant parental figures in your childhood environment, such as your parents, grandparents, teachers, and the like. For instance, the values and norms you have learned from parental figures as a child and incorporated in your grown-up actions, such as do not play with matches, remember to say please and thank you, do not speak to strangers, and the like. Hence, parent ego states contains a huge collection of recordings in the brain as you observed and experienced as a child from birth through the first 5 years of your life. Everything you saw as a child your parents say or do is recorded in the parent ego state. The data is not filtered or analyzed by you as a child, but taken directly and accepted simply without any editing or questioning. So, prejudices, preferences, and decisions of your parents or other adults in parent-link roles you experience in childhood are taken into your belief system and remain seated in the psychological state of being called the parent ego state. If your parents have not had consistent views, then the recordings are weakened, leading to a fragmented parent ego state, as the data recorded from both parents is not in harmony. This can lead to negative influence on your later life, as your parents have given you more confusion rather than a strong sense of direction. The recordings contained in the parent ego state also include information you learned from your early caregivers, older siblings, teachers, and other figures of authority. Often, the data contained in the parent ego state tend to belong to the how to category. They tell you how to make a meal, how to respond to people, how to shake hands, how to behave in specific situations, and the like. Thus, parent ego state includes thousands of rules regularly fortified with absolutes never and always, such as never do this, always do this, be this, stop doing this, and the like. Similarly, a stronger parental figure of your childhood would have a bigger impact on the way you respond to situations as a grown-up. For instance, you may find it difficult to examine the old ways and hang on to them even long after they are useful if a parental figure whose early instructions were accompanied by stern intensity, as you have developed a compulsion about doing this way and no other way. In the functional level, we can speak of two types of parent ego states, namely critical or controlling parent ego state and nurturing parent ego state, and both of these types have their positive and negative expressions. Firstly, let us talk about critical or controlling parent ego state in its positive and negative aspects. In the positive aspect of a critical parent ego state, you would function as a protector of others. You would give others the needed security to make them feel safe and confident about what you are doing. For example, you find someone who works under you lacks confidence to carry out a project. You provide that person the needed help to succeed in accomplishing the project, thereby making him feel safe and secure. On the contrary, in the negative expression of a critical parent ego state, you would function as a persecutor of others. Here, you judge others by what they should and shouldn't do. You hold your rules as your rules and expect everyone else to abide by them. If others don't follow the rules you have set, then you judge them as wrong, inconsistent, selfish, or in a similar manner. You may give your feedback in an aggressive, harsh, passive-aggressive, or indifferent manner. For example, you are sitting in your office and an employee subordinate to you in rank enters your office without knocking at the door. You are angry and say, "Don't you know that you must knock at the door and wait for my answer before you get into my office?" Secondly, let us elaborate on nurturing parent ego state, both in its positive and negative aspects. In the positive aspect of nurturing parent ego state, you would function as the caretaker of others. You would be more understanding and softer in your approach towards others. You would see the situation without judging, recognize and appreciate why something needs to be done, be helpful to calm the situation down, and attempt to establish greater relationship with others. For example, you carefully prepare a table with biscuits and coffee for the upcoming team meeting to make everyone comfortable and well disposed before the meeting begins. In the negative expression of a nurturing parent ego state, you would function as a rescuer of others. Here you attempt to be the savior, the liberator, or champion of those in trouble by taking over what others are expected to do and doing it for them. For example, a student comes to you with a math homework. You take over the student's homework and do it for him instead of offering the needed help and make him do the homework. To get in touch with your parent ego state, you should think of a behavior you have in response to a given situation, which matches exactly with either of your parents or other parent figures of your childhood days. For example, if one of your parents habitually reprimanded offenders in a loud voice, in a similar situation, you would do the same. If this is true, you are acting with your parent ego state. In the next episode, we will analyze the child ego state in detail. Thank you for watching this video. Stay blessed until we see you again with another video.